welcome to SVGTV's news for Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The COVID-19 vaccination program in schools is progressing well. However, the numbers can be better in some schools, primarily in the Grenadines. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Savs, who on radio today said of the 61 primary schools island-wide, 20 schools as of Monday, November 8, have over 60% vaccination coverage of staff who are either fully vaccinated or partially vaccinated with one dose.
Overall, in the primary schools, 57% of the teachers have at least one dose. In a 44% of the teachers, 45% are fully vaccinated. So then you have another 12 percentage points or so who have one vaccine, and it's picking up. But there are certain schools which are lagging behind.
For the secondary schools, Prime Minister Gonsalves said 11 of the 25 schools which he had figures for shows a 60% vaccination rate. He, however, noted that there is some resistance in a few schools. However, these individuals have to be further persuaded to take the jab.
And I'm hoping that they're listening to me. It's in your interest, your health interests, the interest of education, that of the children, the families, the community, the nation. So we need to. Progress is being made, but we need to see more rapid progress, and particularly in some areas.
In terms of the police, the Prime Minister said over 700 policemen and women, including members of the Coast Guard and the Fire Department, have either been fully or partially vaccinated.
Yesterday, 61% of the police were at least partially vaccinated. That is to say, one dose. In fact, the day before, it was 58%. So in one day, a number of other persons, there's been an uptick.
Okay. Okay. By about 3%.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that the very day that persons were talking about sick out is the very day that more people are taking it.
Ironic.
Well, interesting. You know, some areas are naturally higher numbers than in other areas. I must say that in the Grenadines, because in many of the numbers, save and except Myra with the primary school, we've seen in the other primary schools in the Grenadines and also in the secondary schools, broadly speaking, the numbers are all much lower than the national average. But for the police in the Grenadines, there are 24 who are actually fully vaccinated, 10 partially vaccinated. That's 37 of them. 33 of them, 34 of them, 24 and 10, 34. And 17 not vaccinated. So you see the police in the Grenadines are doing fairly well.
As for the community nursing service, Prime Minister Gonsalves said as of Monday, November 8th, the vaccination rate was at 73%.
And the number of different districts, way over the 73%. What pulls down the average is the Southern Grenadines Health District. They only have 44%. Remember last week, the Northern Grenadines wasn't doing so well, but they're now at 56. So they're improving.
Okay.
The Chateaubriand Health District, 65%. The Pembroke Health District, 64%. Those are below the average. The the north, the Georgetown Health District, District 5, which includes Byra, Georgetown, Overland, Sandy Bay, Owea, and Fancy. That's 94%. They're doing quite well. The Cedars Health District, which includes Bayaboo, Diamonds, Connery, South Rivers, Park Hill, they're 100%.
Oh.
Very pleased about that. And very pleased about the one also in the Georgetown District.
The prison service reportedly has over 70% staff vaccinated, and 110 out of the 388 prisoners taken at least one dose of the jab. While improvements have been noted among nurses, teachers, and the police taking the jab, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Saf said the uptick at the air and sea ports is not good.
I think I understand that it is being said among them that the comrades ain't going to enforce the law. I think some of them might have been listening to Cool Chris to think that I'm bluffing. I want to assure you that the discussion which we have had since the middle of July and the issuance of these regulations and the discussion and all the rest of it and the amount of time given and given all the explanations that I have presented, plus my address to the nation on Independence Day, I'm speaking with solemnity and with seriousness and say that unless we take the vaccine, we are not going to get back to normalcy, which means that we're going to have real economic challenges in addition to what we have been having because of COVID and the volcano. We have gone over this over and over again.
As the November 19th deadline draws near for all frontline workers in the country to get vaccinated by at least taking one dose of the jab or find another job, the Prime Minister has reiterated his appeal for everyone to get vaccinated, noting that he is confident good sense will prevail and urge union leaders to support the cause.
Persons have to understand that the country is not going to move on unless we solve this issue. And we have been very measured. I'm talking about the government. Johnny P., we have been discussing this thing for so long.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. True.
Now, clearly, COVID and the volcano, you know, I've said repeatedly that these new circumstances have given rise to the necessity and desirability to shape new or amended paradigms for fresh thinking. And you have to do it in terms of the reorganization of the public service, the public sector, all the state agencies. You're not going to be able to continue in the old way. You notice how very calmly I'm speaking about this thing, Johnny, without any hysteria. I don't want anybody to lose their job, you know.
The latest figures provided by the health authorities on Tuesday indicate that 47,788 vaccines have been administered in the country thus far. Of this figure, 27,828 persons have received a first dose of the available COVID-19 vaccines, with 19,960 receiving their second dose and are considered fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, 44 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported from 228 samples collected on Monday, November 8, resulting in a positivity rate of 19.3%. 16 new rapid antigen positive results were also reported from flu clinics on Monday. There are currently 12 patients admitted for COVID-19 at the Argyle Isolation Facility. 11 of the patients are said to be unvaccinated and one patient partially vaccinated. 17 patients have also been admitted to the COVID-19 wards at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. 15 of these patients are said to be unvaccinated and 2 partially vaccinated. No deaths were recorded over the reporting period. 25 new recoveries were noted over the reporting period. 1,126 cases are currently active, and 69 persons with COVID-19 have died. 5,167 cases of COVID-19 and 3,927 recoveries have been recorded in SVG since March 2020. 3 prisoners were released from Her Majesty's prisons through the Mercy Committee this week. Myron Samuel, a resident of Layu who was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment for unlicensed firearm and ammunition, pardoned by the Mercy Committee based on health reasons. He, however, has some conditions to meet. As a free man, he is expected to report to the Layu police station 3 times weekly between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Samuel will also have to undergo counseling and is not permitted to leave the state unless for medical reasons, and is given permission to do so by the chairman of the Mercy Committee. The other prisoner who received a pardon is Danroy Laborde, who was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment for assault. He was not given any terms or conditions to meet for his release. The other lucky prisoner who received a pardon was Zachra Haywood from Richmond Hill, Kingstown. SVG-TV was also reliably informed that a fourth person is expected to receive a pardon from the Mercy Committee. Port Kingstown will receive its first cruise ship call in almost a year tomorrow, Thursday, November 11th. Since August, calls have been made to the Grenadines, with the first cruise ship, the Seabourn Odyssey, docking at Port Elizabeth Beckway on August 7th. Communications Manager in the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Julian Charles Scott, said there is a high anticipation for the first cruise call to Port Kingstown in almost a year.
Britannia is of course no stranger to our shows. Britannia will be operating in a bubble, and the operation of that bubble simply means that all passengers and crew are fully vaccinated. All tours have been pre-booked, packaged by local tour operators. Only passengers that are participating in these package tours would disembark the ship. And this is in keeping with the cruise tourism protocols. So land and sea transportation would operate at a 75% capacity. Sanitization and disinfection of surfaces, the wearing of the mask and the physical distancing would be fully employed. So persons have to ensure that they adhere to these protocols. Now, over the past few months, the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Health, and our stakeholders, particularly the cruise agents, the tour operators, taxi drivers, we have been working assiduously to strengthen the operational aspects of the cruise sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
For the cruise season, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is expected 224 cruise calls, with 14 of these vessels expected to visit the island for the first time. Port Kingstown is expected to receive 104 calls, Port Elizabeth 59, Maro 35, Tobago Keys 12, Union Island 11, and Canawan 2. Tourism and Culture Minister Carlos James had already indicated that this is all subject to change based on what transpires with COVID-19 locally and internationally. After a year absence due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the National Theatre Arts Festival Committee is currently hosting a more enhanced festival virtually. This year's festival started on Saturday, November 6th and will conclude on November 28th. The first phase of the festival is reviewing of 7 plays from past Theatre Arts Festival, which started last Sunday, November 7th, and will finish this Friday, November 12th. On Saturday, November 13th, 15 individuals and 4 theatre groups will begin their performances. Speaking with SVGTV News, coordinator of the National Theatre Arts Festival, Sean Frederick, said persons can view the performances on Facebook.
I'd like to encourage all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to, as I said, go to our Facebook page, Department of Culture Facebook page on Facebook, and or the SVG National Theatre Arts page. Now, there are some issues and some things that spread like wildfire in our country. This is one of them that I would like Vincentians to own. You know, there's a saying, we don't like you, but in the creative industry, we like we. And we are encouraging persons to share it with their friends and families, especially those persons in the diaspora. Put the creative and cultural sector, put our artists, our young, emerging and established artists on the world stage so that everybody can see the abundance of talent we have in our country. What we have as a product in our young people is beyond amazing. As somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, I'm very proud of what I see in terms of the younger ones coming up. I'm ready to step aside and make way for these young people, their ability to write, their performance skills. They're just talented.
Frederick said that this year's festival is being judged in several categories and several prizes are up for grabs.
The National Performing Arts Festival is an addition to the National Theatre Arts Festival, which mainly focuses on individual presentations. Those individual presentations captures the various elements within the performing arts industry: poetry, monologues, group skits, presentations, and we wanted to add a folk element to it, which looks at reenactment, choral speaking, and other forms of our traditional creative and cultural forms. So the festival this year is mainly on those categories. Individuals would have went through a registration process and submitted their application to participate in the various categories that I mentioned before. And this year, the festival is a judge festival. So in the various categories, you can expect persons to run away with awards in those various categories. Best poet, male or female, best monologue, male or female, and so on and so forth.
Frederick noted thus far they have been receiving good feedback from viewers on the virtually held festival.
And at one of our meetings in 2020, 19 for that matter, a member from one of the participating groups made a submission for us to consider hosting a national performing arts festival. So we used the time that we would have been affected by the current pandemic and did a number of meetings to look at the proposal and to put this in its development stage. And we are, this year, 2021, executing that National Performance Festival.
The Salvation Army is seeking more volunteers and assisting with this year's Christmas Kettle Appeal. Administrator of the Salvation Army, Captain Ernest Gotchlin, told SVG-TV News today that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they are unable to get much assistance.
Currently, we're not doing well in terms of the people we have. We have 6 locations. We have only 2 covered. So we're looking forward to see people to come and, volunteer themselves to assist us with collecting funds. A day, a week, for the entire time, we welcome you. All right? So anybody can do that, but they have to let us know that they come in so that we can know how to, where and how to do. Well, I have a phone number. It is 430-6321. That's my cell phone. That's better, to get me, especially with this coming activity. You can get me to that. And once they call me or they leave a message for me, if they don't get me, I will get back to them.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there will be no official launch of this year's Christmas Appeal, which will commence this Friday, November 12th. Captain Goshlin said that he is grateful for the support provided last year, noting that the monies collected were used as part of the COVID-19 response.
We normally buy food stuff and we share with them sometime in December. So we do that every year. But it's not only December we do that, because it helps us as well even throughout the year, especially this year. Because last year when we were having Christmas activities, we never thought of volcanic eruption. So, but we had to put some aside in case. So when the eruption took place on the 9th of April, we had something to start with. So on the Saturday, the 10th, my wife and I, we went to some locations, we did some assessments, and then we started cooking food to distribute to the shelters, some shelters this Sunday, that was the 11th. So the cleaning activity we did last year helped us to start until we could get donations from other places to continue until the end of July.
The Salvation Army head said they are hoping to take the cattle appeal at 7 locations between capital Kingston and Arnesville.
Location, we will be at People's Pharmacy, Courage Supermarket, Massey Court, and Arnesville Supermarket as well. And we also will have a port by the water authority. We have asked Penlec to support as well over there, because we know that with this COVID, might be difficult to get people to stand on the road to collect for us. But the need is greater than before. All right, so we try to see how we can, to raise any amount we can to help us, because it's not only now, and even though COVID-19 has taken over, people still need, because I believe it's the end of September, people, was asking if we start putting down names already for this. We have not started yet, you understand? So they're still looking for that, so we can't say, okay, we're not going to do it because of COVID.